use gravity and my spray bottle. Thicker blue pushes the paint up and down. I'm going to paint a really super simple sunset. A couple of birds and just a suggestion of a landscape. So I'm going to keep it really light up here where I'll put the birds. And so the landscape section of my painting might be water, it might be landform. I will wait and see how it looks before I decide. I've got 2 jars of water, a palette. I'm going to start by liberally spraying, especially here. I'm going to spray a lot where I'm planning to put some birds there. A lot of water where I'll put the birds, because then it will automatically be light. And I'm going to give the bottom a slight spritz, but not much. A lot of water up the top. So it's super runny right there. And so if I'm doing a sunset kind of painting, then I've got this lush yellow here. I'm going to pop in some yellow, and then I've got this beautiful orange I've mixed up. It's alizarin and yellow. So then I'm going to put in little bits. I'm going to try and avoid adding colour there so that it looks like a sunset. Very quickly putting in some orange, and then I might add a little more reddish colour. That's the alizarin. Bit risky using the alizarin on its own like that. And then maybe some blue sky up the top. Got a little bit of phthalo over here, and I'm going to mix it in with this grey blue. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to go phthalo, a little bit of phthalo with a little bit of ultramarine, and then I'm going to put in little tiny bits of blue sky up there, just little wispy bits, and then down here I'll put a little bit of blue, and maybe there's a landform, so I'll put in a bit of grey. Maybe it ends up like a landform. We don't know at the moment. Now these are not moving fast enough, so I'm going to use gravity and my spray bottle and just make the colour do something beautiful. I don't want any hard lines in my sky, so there's some possible hard lines there, so I'm going to spray them. I don't mind hard lines in the foreground. In fact, that can work to my advantage. Now I'm tipping it the other way. And this is what I love about watercolour, how quickly, in a matter of minutes, I can get a beautiful wet in wet study. So I'm just mopping and mopping. I'm just going to do that there, just so that I don't get any hard lines. Oh, there's a little white patch there. I kind of wanted my focus to be up here sun-wise, so I think I'll get rid of that little patch. And what's on my brush? That's blue. What's on this brush? Grey. I think I'll put in, just washing that brush, a bit of red, and then tip it back through that beautiful light sky. Now I do want the sky light, so I can add some birds, just giving it a bang to encourage those runoffs. Just tip it the other way. So while it's beautiful and wet down here, I'm going to put in some thicker red and straight into that thicker red, some thicker blue. Oh, it's really, really thick. and maybe I'll put in there. And I'm just going to let it flow. So there's lots of hard lines just here, so I might just spray them a little more, just a bit more. Just turn it the other way. I was going to rotate it, but I think I'll just turn it. And I'm just watching it at the moment just to see what happens. And I'm especially looking to see if there's any drips that I need to collect with my tissue. Right, that's going well. Now I'm going to tissue off some of that yellow. It was more than I intended. Might have to soften off those lines. I'll see in a minute. I'll just watch it for a second. There's a drip forming there, so I'm just going to put the board back the other way. I think that would have been just a bit better had I touched it once. Done now, can't do anything about that, but if you're going to follow along with me, do it once. Scrunch up the tissue and just press once. I think that would be better. Lots of opportunities up here because it's really light for adding in some birds. I'm just keeping it on this angle. It's on a steep angle. I've got my hand on the board on the right hand side to ensure any excess. Okay, what I'm going to do is pick up some water on my small quill. It's fully loaded, and I'm going to drag it along there. Drag it at what might be the bottom of a landform. Just going to drag it across again. And it starts to push the paint around. I'm keeping it on a big angle. It's working really nicely. I'm just going to do it again. Pushes the paint up and down. But the excess is running off to the side. There's the big drip. I'm just going to gather that. Bit of paint there that I don't want. Bit of yellow. I like to not really put my tissue on the page, but I was mopping the bits there that I don't want. Okay, now I'm going to rotate the other way. I'm just going to sit with it and see if it does something rather lovely. I'm just going to keep it on that angle. It's gotten quite swollen here and here, and then there's a valley between. Now when I leave it to dry, if I leave it on this angle, I'm likely to get some build-up of moisture here, and then it re-releases into the painting. So what I might do is leave it on an angle like this. It's hard for you to see, but I'll just move it down so you can see. There's the top of the board, and I'm going to leave it on that angle so that any excess paint, if there is any excess paint, and there probably is, will run this way. There's a little bit of movement just here because there's a gathering of paint, and that might look good or it might not. So I'm just going to get a tissue, dry this flat brush off, and I'm just going to remove some of that. I don't really want it tipping in that direction. just pick that up and put it here, put it there, and just use that. Right, and then by doing that, that'll stop the flow, and that's better. I don't mind if this moves. Sometimes that does such beautiful things if you let it go. Maybe I will just lift off there, and by doing that, I suggest a landform. I'm going to allow that. That's going to very slowly move down. Just lift it off again. Okay, the painting's been sitting here for about half an hour, and because I just let the paint run, it's done some really interesting things just here on what could possibly be a maybe a landform. Doesn't matter. I love how if you leave it quite abstract, the viewer can make up their mind about what it is. So I'm going to add some birds. I'm just checking. Oops, I'm going to move my glass. There, that's better. I'm going to add some birds, and I'm going to use as my reference this photo which is from the Sun Herald, and one of my students photocopied it and gave it to me, which is this. It's such a wonderful thing to be given stuff by students like that, and it's got all these birds in flight. I'm sorry, I don't know who the photographer was, but it was from the Sun Herald in March 2019, and it's got all these beautiful shapes for the birds. So I'm going to use grey, and I've got a little bit of grey here on my palette. I'm going to practice the shapes first. One goes like that and like that with a body, and one goes like that and like that, and there's the body. One goes down and oops, down, and there's the body. Okay, so that's a little bit of practice there, and I'm not going to put them in front of the sun. I'm going to just carefully decide where I'm going to put them. Depending on where I want to draw focus. So do I want some little tiny ones down here, or do I want them really high in the sky as though they're flying away? Yeah, possibly. I'm just going to add a little bit of water to this grey because I'll put them in a light tone, and then if I stuff them up, it's not near so bad. Right. Flick, and then a body. And I'll put one over here and here, and there's the body, and then one over here and here, there's the body, and one I might get a little smaller as though it's moving off into the distance, one there and one there, and a bit of a body. Didn't really need much of a body actually, that one. And maybe down here, maybe over here. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe one over here. And I'll do a really tiny one. Oh yeah, I might go a little bit down there. Up and up. And a little bit of a body. Now I've got 5 so tempting to put in a stack more, but I'm going to wait and see. I'm hoping that will be enough, and I'm running a course on this tomorrow, so I think I should make that enough, because otherwise I'm going to run out of time and I need to sign it. So I'm going to sign it down here. Marion, the dot, Marion Chapman. Right. I wish those weren't quite so close together, but I think that I will attempt to correct it just that tiny bit by getting a little bit of water on my brush, removing all the moisture, and I'll just take some of the tone out of this one so that maybe it looks more distant. Or at least less important. Oh, that's a bit better. That's much better. Oh, I like that one's got balance. So I might take the tone out of this one too. That worked so well. Oh, now I'm happy. Okay, I'm going to say that one's done. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching, especially if you've made it this far to the end of the video. And please like the video if you got anything out of it, and subscribe if you want to see more. And thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.